when I was actually getting ready to audition for Metallica, I was staying at Mike Bordin's house, and I was staying in his guest room, and I looked up, and he had this really cool photo of Cliff, and you know, kind of half asleep in that weird semi-sleep state, working on probably something off Master of Puppets, and I look up, and it's Cliff, and he's staring at me. He's like looking at me. And it was over the strangest thing, and I said, Cliff, if I get this gig, I won't let you down, I promise. Because I almost felt like he was checking me out. Hopefully he was giving me a thumbs up, but I'll never forget that moment because it was very surreal, but it was important.
Cliff needed a new Walkman. That really dates the story. We get arrested. The cops think because we had long hair, we must be carrying drugs. And even though we said we're not, they were like, well, we could bring you in on suspicion. One of the cops opened the thing. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, we're taking your friend back to the flat to search it. And I say, I see Cliff like, as they take him out, and because he had a whole bunch of weed. And I'm like, oh, we're screwed. That's it. Midnight Express. I'm never going to see my family again. And we go in the captain's office, and Cliff is sitting there kind of half smiling at me. And this captain starts apologizing to us. Anyway, we finally leave, and I'm like, dude, what about the weed? They never looked under the mattress. The worst cops in London history, apparently, because they never looked under the mattress. It's like, seriously, someone was watching over us that day.
Every Cliff Burton bass solo I've ever heard is a soulful, psychedelic, head-banging expression that rocks your world, trips your brain out, and gets the house rocking. And when I hear him play, I hear a dude that knew his shit. He was a serious musician who delved into it with all the love and passion that is obvious in his playing. The space that he created in the history of music will last forever. No one else can ever fill it. He was one of a kind, and I can never listen to any Metallica record without thinking of him. It is clear that the gift he gave lives on in that band's music, be he live or be he dead. And I say, God bless Cliff Burton, he rules.
Cliff was really a wonderful human being. We used to ride to rehearsal together, and I remember this one story in particular. We were smoking some really terrible pot. It was homegrown, so it was really awful. And we were listening to Lynyrd Skynyrd because Cliff loved Lynyrd Skynyrd. One day we get to rehearsal and we're playing the song The Mechanics, which had been changed into the Four Horsemen, and I'll tell you why. So we get there, and Lars goes, oh, fuck, man, we need to slow this song down a little bit, man. I pick up my guitar, and I go, dun, 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 the Sweet Home Alabama riff, right? He goes, fuck, man, that's fucking brilliant, man. And I went, oh my God. So I dumped the da-da-da-da-da in the middle, so it goes bum bum ba-da, bum bum ba-da, bum bum ba-da, bum bum ba-da, right? Whatever. And that's the difference between the Four Horsemen and the Mechanics, is the bastardized version of Lynyrd Skynyrd. Thanks to Cliff.
He was the kind of guy, he would stand in front of people in the schoolyard if they were fighting, and he'd get his finger out, say, cut that shit out, don't be a dick. And they respected him. He was a wise, even at a young age, he was wise. He was funny. He loved Monty Python. I watched him take people's money in math class at the back of the room, playing cards. Everybody loved Cliff. He left a hole in everybody's life when he died. And it's not, it'll never be filled. I miss him, I miss the hell out of him every day, as does everybody that knew him.
After our show and Metallica show, we go to catering and get something for the bus to eat. So we'd all wind up in there and sit down, maybe have coffee and talk about the show or something. So Cliff and I would do that, and the last thing we would say to each other in a joking way, maybe I'll see you tomorrow, and maybe I will. That's the last thing. So I said, I started this one the last night that Cliff was alive. I said, hey Cliff, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. And as he's leaving the room, the last thing he goes, maybe I will.
Maria Ferraro, who's here actually tonight, she was the one that she got assigned to Johnny, and it was kind of a weird time because when Johnny and Marcia flew out to see us, actually the night before, well, the night they landed, the Cliff Burton died that night. So, and we had the audition at 12 noon the next morning.
And they got there.
And they got there and they told us the news, and we were like all like, oh. no way, Cliff.
Yeah.
We were so bummed, and it was such a
And then we had to play
weird
for
thing,
them.
you know. And then, yeah, and we played.
But we kind of
3
played
songs.
for Cliff that night, you know.
Some people ask, and some of you will probably already know of, particularly young people, say how did Cliff get started in the bass, playing the bass? He used to watch Barney Miller, a comedian of pop thing, and he loved that bass. It was played at the beginning of it, a bass solo, and so he came to his mother and me and said, "Can you help me get started playing a bass guitar?" And so we helped him, and the rest is history. So anyway.